study class 10th economics, the first chapter, that is development. Now before we move on to understanding development, let's first understand the difference between growth and development. When we say growth, we talk about an increase in the net or the real national income and the national output. However, when we talk about development, it's not merely an increase in the national income. It is much beyond the increase in the national income. So it talks about the quality of life, the living standards that could be measured in terms of the literacy levels, the per capita income and the health care. Now, in simple words, if I say about development, we can say development is a kind of directional growth. That means we are growing, but we are providing a direction to the growth. That means our aim for this growth is providing literacy to all, providing good healthcare facilities, providing a kind of basic medical facility, improving the life expectancy of the residents. So all those are kind of directional growth. So development, if includes a kind of directional growth, we say the development is useful or beneficial. Now, since generations we have been talking about present is a key to past. So based on the past developments or the past growth that has taken place, the present status or the present idea of development could be demarcated. So let's talk about the world. Then you have Africa, you have India and so on. So what is happening here? If we look onto the past trends, we can say Africa was among the less developed nations in comparison to America. That means that past has been a trendsetter for the present growth or the present development in the region. So if there is a kind of higher development in this region would prosper much better as compared to the prosperity in Africa, because you had a kind of better start or a kind of good start that was available for this region. So that explains how present is governed by the past. Again, for different people, there are different development goals that are set up. That means what is development for me might not be development for you, or what is development for you might not be development for me. So let's say you have a kind of landless labor. For a landless labor, what would be development? Development would be earning more wages or getting more days of work, or a very higher thought would be getting a kind of permanent employment. That is a kind of development from the perspective of a landless labor. From the perspective of a prosperous farmer, could be gaining more income, bringing in more technology into the farms, getting in more prosperity. For an urban unemployed youth, the development could be getting a good decent employment. For a tribal, the development goal could be getting good education, having a rising socio-economic strata, getting equality or getting land ownership. Again, for a girl child, the development could be in terms of equal opportunity, education at parity, or in terms of better freedom or more higher freedom levels. So there are different development assessments or development levels or development goals that a person has. So we cannot say what is development for me would definitely be a development for you. So every person has a kind of different development levels or development goals that he or she wants to achieve. Now development, as we said, is a mixed goal. That means improving the income levels, getting more freedom, having better treatment on social equality, social inclusion. Then you have security, respect for others and a kind of safe environment to move around. So these are some of the basic, or I could say mixed goals that talk about or define development. When we talk about development of a nation or national development, our basic idea is to improve the life of the citizens of that nation. So what can we talk about then? We can talk about the net GDP of the state, the nation. We can talk about parameters like literacy rate, parameters like healthcare, health index, life expectancy, socio-economic development. So these are some of the parameters that we would consider when we talk about national development. Along with this, we will focus on the personal income or the growth in income, removal of poverty, satisfaction of the social economic needs, and attainment of a democratic and participatory society. So these are some of the national goals or the national development goals that are being defined. However, when we come on comparison of between the nations and the state, for comparison, it's important to note we always compare the averages. We do not compare the totals, because when we are comparing the total income, that total income would vary based on the number of people living in that country. So rather than comparing the total income, what we need to compare is the average income. So when we talk about average income or per capita income, that's the total income divided by the total number of the residents or the total population. Now the World Bank report, World Development Report 2006 said the per capita income of more than 4,53,000 per person per annum and above in 2004 were considered as rich countries. If the income level is less than 37,000, we called it poor income countries. So India fell into the category of the low income countries or poor income countries, because in 2004 the per capita income for India was nearly 28,000 per annum. Now again, if we talk about rich countries, we exclude the Middle East and certain small countries that are developed countries, because we are excluding the countries of Middle East in this because they are kind of rich countries, but we won't consider them as kind of developed nations. So this is a kind of basic idea to help us understand at what parameters we can compare the development levels. So we can definitely compare the development levels at the level of per capita income, but not at a level of absolute income or the total income. So that's the first thing to note. Now besides income, what are other parameters that are important? So let's move back to India and let's take an example of Kerala and Punjab. Now Punjab has a much higher per capita income as compared to Kerala. Now Punjab has a much higher per capita income as compared to Kerala. However, if we talk in terms of development, we would say Kerala is much ahead of Punjab. Now why so? Because when we are talking about development per se, we are not just merely including the national income, the per capita income, as we did in the case of growth. So if we talk about growth, we can say Punjab has a higher growth as compared to Kerala, but if we talk in terms of development, we are including other parameters like infant mortality rate, literacy rate, and the net attendance ratio. Now Now, infant mortality rate is the number of children that are not able to survive below the age of 1 year per 1000 live births. So, if the infant mortality rate is higher, the region is not doing well in terms of development. Again, literacy rate is the literacy we define it as a person who can read and write of an age group of about 7 years. Now, if we say the literacy rate is higher, that means there is higher development. The next is the net attendance ratio. So, children in the age group of 6 to 10 years, if they are attending more school as compared to the other region, that means the region A is doing well in terms of net attendance ratio and has a higher development. Again, public facilities is again an important parameter, because it's not just the money in your pockets, it's how the community is being developed. So if there is a kind of pollution-free environment, unadulterated medicines, more of sewage and sanitation facilities that are available. So all these public facilities, if they are better off, that means the overall development of the region is much better. So these are some of the parameters that we look into while considering the development, but these are not included when we talk about growth. Again, I mentioned the same point. So you have again, for countries which are working for poverty elevation, like a country like India, you have a kind of public distribution system. We have already talked about this in class 9. So proper functioning of public distribution system is again an important parameter. As we talked about the example of Punjab and Kerala, so Punjab definitely has higher per capita income, but it is lower in terms, or I could say it has much higher infant mortality rate as compared to Kerala. So we cannot calculate this based on the development of the region. So development of the region would be higher, or the standards of the living for Kerala would be higher than that of Punjab. Again, undernourishment is one of the factors that is considered when we talk about development. So undernourishment is measured by the body mass index, that's the weight of the person divided by the height of the person. Now the human development index has been given by UNDP. It was initially recommended by Pakistani economist, that is Mahbubul Haq, in collaboration with Amartya Sen. It focused on three basic parameters, that is life expectancy, education and per capita income. In 2010, inequality adjusted HDI was given, which was known as IHDI, and it again focused on three standards. The first is the decent standard of living, that is the gross national income per capita, or we can say purchasing power parity in terms of US dollars. Then you have the education index that talks about the mean years of schooling and the expected years of schooling. So that's the education index. And finally, for a long and healthy life, the life expectancy at birth is again important parameter. Now what is done under HDI? We take a geometric mean of all these three parameters, that's life expectancy, education and income index. So a geometric mean of all these three indicators are taken to calculate the human development index. And finally, we will talk about the sustainability of development. When it comes to sustainability of development, we say we have not inherited the world from our forefathers, rather we have borrowed it from our children. That means we need to preserve or conserve the resources so that they can be used for the future generations to come, and that is what we talk about when we discuss the concept of sustainable development or sustainability of development. Now, for example, groundwater is one of our renewable resources, and this can be replenished by nature. However, which are non-renewable in nature, and these cannot be replenished. So once depleted, they are gone. So we need to have, for example, oil, petroleum. So we need to have a kind of general